The chairman's son disguised himself as a construction worker, came to the site to inspect the work. As soon as he entered, he saw the workers eating plain and watery food, like slop with no nutrition at all. The man was furious. The workers were doing heavy physical labor every day, but the meals they got were this poor. Yet when he went to report to the site supervisor, he saw the supervisor's table full of chicken, duck and fish, even with wine on the side. He held back his anger and handed over his personnel documents. The supervisor didn't even glance at them, and immediately sent him to the dirtiest and hardest cement group. He also emphasized that hard hats were mandatory on site, and forced him to buy one directly from him, $3,000 each, no exceptions. The man picked up the helmet, and could tell at a glance it was low quality, so he knocked his helmet against the supervisor's. His own cracked with a big hole instantly, while the supervisor's was perfectly fine. The man was burning with rage. The workers were doing the most dangerous jobs, eating the worst food, and wearing the worst equipment, which offered no protection at all. And once a cheap helmet broke, the workers had to pay high prices out of pocket to replace it. Meanwhile, the bosses did no real work, ate the best meals, and wore the best protective gear. This was clearly exploitation, with no regard for the workers' lives. The man exposed the supervisor's corruption on the spot, but none of the workers dared to stand up, which only made the supervisor more arrogant. He tried to fire the man right then and there. Just as the man was about to reveal his identity, the project manager suddenly appeared, and slapped the supervisor across the face. He spoke coldly, saying anyone who could get in here wasn't ordinary. Then he asked the man if he had any family working at the company. The man felt it wasn't the right time, so he denied it on the spot. Hearing that the man had no connections, the manager's attitude changed instantly. How dare someone without backing stir up trouble like this? He clearly didn't respect the leadership at all. With the project manager backing him up, the supervisor got even bolder. He told the man, if he wanted to keep his job, he had to follow every order. All living expenses and spending were under his control. Even salary distribution had to follow the manager's rules. Then the manager said when salaries were issued, everyone was required to buy tea from the store across the street, which was owned by his wife. But a single box of tea cost $2,000, half a month's salary for a worker. The workers were miserable. After working hard for an entire month, they finally got paid, but were forced to spend half their wages at the manager's store every month. Yet the supervisor said this was the rule. If they didn't like it, they could leave. The man finally couldn't take it anymore. He immediately called his assistant and told her to come to the site at once. Then in front of everyone, he revealed his true identity, saying this matter had to be exposed today. But the manager didn't believe him at all. He punched and kicked him, and dragged him to the backyard to bury him alive. At that moment, the assistant finally arrived. The project manager had already prepared a welcome party. He greeted her with a big smile, and offered lavish gifts with both hands. But the assistant looked cold and serious, saying she was here to inspect, not to accept gifts. She immediately demanded that the manager gather all the workers, but the chairman's son was nowhere to be seen, which made her uneasy. Just then, noises came from the backyard. She had a bad feeling, and rushed over at once. By that time the man had already been thrown into a deep pit. The arrogant supervisor was operating the excavator, preparing to bury him alive.